Brian Billick, Super Bowl winning coach, knows all about the Ravens and winning. He joins us live. So I want to ask you about the Ravens, because I said this last week. They're what the Steelers used to be. It doesn't matter if the team's hot, cold. You're in for an alley fight every time you face Baltimore. They just generate offense with running backs hurt, Staley's hurt, Mark Andrews out. You were part of that culture. It's like, is it the city, the owner, the GM? Baltimore is, you have to play well to beat Baltimore. It's their culture. It's in their DNA. You were part of it. What is it? Where does it come from?
Well, it does go back. I think it's that pedigree. I think it's that history that they build on. Anybody that comes into Baltimore, that you're drafted free agent, you're immediately indoctrinated that this is who we are. Obviously, they've been very good on defense for a long, long time. And coupled with that, they usually run the ball really well. They want to lead the league in rushing right now, and they're like second or third in the league in defense. So that combination, when you come in as that is your base, then you immediately take on that personality of, yeah, we're rough, we're physical, particularly as you get into December. That really comes out in the forefront. Now, they're throwing the ball better, and they're really excited about what they're doing down the field, rightfully so. But at the heart of that team, it is the physicality of that pedigree, defense and running the ball, that continues to carry them.
Now, you had quarterbacks that were more managers. When you're a coach and you have a Lamar or a Josh Allen, it's tough, Brian, because you have to allow for greatness, but you also want to create borders and boundaries. I love Lamar. I didn't know if he would work. He does. But do you think for Harbaugh, is it tougher the more talented quarterback you have, because you do have to allow them to be magical?
Well, they made that decision early. I remember when they first started Lamar, and I talked with John, and I was, okay, how are you with him running the ball? And they were all in. They said, if he carries it 140, 150, 160 times, that is Lamar. We've got to let him do what he does. And they bought into it, and they've been very successful with it. I think the same now is with the passing game. He is what he has been in the passing game. They've got a better receiving core. That's why they're doing better. But the way he makes plays happen off script, outside the pocket, you got to live with it all, because it's more good than bad.
Yeah.
Whether he runs with the ball or he's throwing the ball down the field. So they'll buy into it totally and realize that the good's going to outweigh the bad.
There's an old saying: if you run the ball and play defense, that travels. Well, maybe that's the reason Dallas is so wildly inconsistent. I don't think I've ever seen a team. It's almost collegiate. They're terrible at times on the road, and they're devastating at home. How do you explain it?
Well, because you're focused so much on the offensive side and what they're doing. I think the other night, running the ball travels well. Playing good run defense travels well. And they gave up they could not stop the running game. At no point did you have the feeling that Dallas could say, okay, you can stop anything you want in the NFL if you want to commit the resources to it. The question is, what price do you pay? I can stop the run. I guarantee you, I can put 11 guys up in the line of scrimmage, and you're not going to run. Now, you're going to go bombs away, throwing it down the field. There's nothing they could do to stop Buffalo running the ball. And that, to me, that's the bigger concern, because good run defense travels well, particularly as you get into the playoffs, and that equation kind of comes up. Right now, I'd be more concerned about their run defense than I am Dak's inability to put up points on the road. Yeah, when you got to catch up, it's tougher. I get that. And that's not to say that that's not real, that they've got to perform better on the road. But the biggest thing the other night that jumped out at me is you better learn to stop the run before you do anything else.
We were talking about, I've never thought Sean Payton and Russell Wilson's personalities would fit. That's okay. You don't have to be buddies. Belichick and Brady didn't have dinner in 20 years. But when it comes out to the forefront, it's on TV, it's combative. Go to your history. I kind of get it. It's an ego position. You have things you want. They have things they deliver on or don't. Does this stuff happen more than guys like me think? Does it happen a lot, but we just generally don't see it?
Well, you don't generally see it. This is one of those things. You ever yell at your wife, Colin? You ever do it in public? That's a different combination there. I think the difference here, it's the fact that Russell's dealing with the head coach and the play caller. He hasn't had to do that before. In Seattle, Pete was the head coach, the defensive side. He could have all these flare-ups he wanted with his offensive coordinators doing what you should do or shouldn't do, or I want to do this. Russell also thinks of himself kind of LeBron James-ish, like I have that kind of stature. Well, not with Sean Payton, you don't. And the fact that Sean is also the play caller and the designer of the offense, that kind of volatility. I mean, one of the things that you look back and obviously with him and Drew Brees, they were just attached at the hip. They had a bromance going from day one. They saw it the same way. They communicated that way. That's obviously not the case with Russell, and him burn up at Russell, even if it's justified and on the sideline, you can dismiss it. I don't think that's going to sit well with Russell. So this is going to be an interesting one to watch.
So, Christian McCaffrey, I grew up with Walter Payton and Barry Sanders. Tremendous. McCaffrey's ability to run full speed and make cuts. He never slows. He doesn't set up cuts. He just makes them running full speed. Like Jerry Rice ran routes. There's an argument he has more dexterity than any running back I've ever seen. There's something about this league's reluctance to embrace running backs for MVP. I think he's the engine. I think he's the engine for everything. When you watch him in your history in the league, what do you see?
Well, it's that versatility, just what you're talking about. And the fact that and John Lynch has been, I think, absolutely brilliant in how strategic they've been in adding key high-profile not free agents, but trades or coming in from the outside. Christian McCaffrey is spectacular. I don't think we've seen the likes of him in the NFL because of the versatility. It's not just he's a tough physical runner between the tackles. Like you said, it's that ability to jump cut, that speed, the way it opens, and what he can do out of the backfield. I think it's that trifecta. I can't remember. We've had some good Curtis Martin was pretty good that way. But at this level of what they're doing, and as you alluded to earlier, the way Shanahan's using him, brilliant in the combination. This is the most versatile. And we tend to think of running backs and lead the league in rushing and hard to make them the MVP. With all that this guy's doing, I think it's a lot easier to talk about him in the MVP category than maybe other great running backs in the past.
Good seeing you, Coach. Your Ravens are playing well. Number 1 seed in the AFC. It's a pleasure to see you again.
Sounds good.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.